Clark and Perry.
In the place.
Clark and Perry. Do what it takes. Clark and Perry invite you to stay.
And explore the artistry in everything, live, on location alongside the Windy City's finest. Produced with the support of TELUS Story Hive, available on YouTube and TELUS Optic TV on demand, for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome once again, everybody. This is the Windy City's finest. I'm Perry. He's Clark, and you are
Claire Lint with Haptic Dance Arts.
Yes, thank you so much for meeting with us again.
Thank you.
I'm super, and thank you to everybody tuning in, be it on the live stream or otherwise. And I'm so excited to go for a walk in nature.
Yeah.
And just talk about what you get from nature and just kind of that part of your journey.
Lovely.
So yeah, I think without further ado, should we take a walk?
Let's go.
Let's go for a walk, everybody.
Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
This is Indian Battle Park.
Indian Battle Park.
Lethbridge, Alberta.
Right next to the Helen Schuler Nature Center.
Just under the trestle bridge there. The largest trestle bridge in Canada.
In Canada, hey?
Just
That's pretty awesome.
Little fact.
Yeah, I always see pictures of like, you know, Lethbridge back in the day, and it's like, the bridge is just still there, and I don't know. I wonder what like people ages ago would have thought, you know?
Well, and you know, I think it's an interesting thing because I think we get really used to the bridge.
Totally.
But when you come down here and you have this vantage point,
Yeah.
it's really humbling when you think about how old the bridge is.
Totally, yeah.
And fascinating how the engineers actually figured out the technology to span this river bottom. So I think similar to, we got some icy bits here,
We got some icy bits.
but we'll just skate our way across.
Yes.
But similar to how the how nature itself sort of inspires me or slows me down, I think sometimes like engineering like this is a similar thing, right? Where you're just like, how did they build it?
Totally.
You know, without the technology that we have today. So we're gonna skate our way into a puddle. You never know what you're gonna find. Lethbridge is one of those places where you get
I don't think my boots are as good as yours.
No, I've got my blunnies.
Along the edge
He's
here.
gonna walk along the edge.
I need to hold your hand, Clark. Here we go. We got this.
We're on an adventure this morning, guys.
We're
almost through.
Reminds me of The Hobbit. You know, just iconic.
There
We're
you
going on an
go.
adventure. Yeah.
Well, and I think
There
that's
we go.
part of it. You never really do know what you're gonna get in the river bottom. The seasons, all 4 seasons that we experience are wildly different. And I know lots of people feel like Lethbridge is just really brown.
Totally.
Which it is, because we live in this sort of semi-arid desert like climate down here. But there is something to offer in every season that we have. And the more that I've come down here and explored, the more you actually find, right?
Totally.
Whether it's the animals or even like the life that kind of peaks up at different times of year.
Or the rocks.
Yeah, the rocks.
Yeah, the heart-shaped rocks.
Heart-shaped rocks, if you find one, it's a special thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it also makes me think of like the prairies themselves and just, you know, great prairie land that we are on. And I find that, you know, if I'm driving to Calgary, a lot of people say that the drive is boring. And to some extent, I would agree.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's way more than it appears.
Meets the eye.
Yeah. And I just feel like, I don't know, I think there's something really special about that, because it demands like your time and energy in order to see like what is really there. And
yeah, well, the one thing that's always captured me being on the prairies is the sky.
The sky.
Right? Like the endless sky, and you can just see for miles and miles, and the clouds that are always changing. And you're right, like there is always something to find.
Totally.
Similar to art, similar to artistic process, like you're like, oh, we're done. No, you're never done.
No.
There's always a different angle. There's always a different way to approach the work or to try different things. And so, yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, that kind of age-old thing for artists of like, the work's never done, but when can you let it go? I guess. Yeah.
At some point, or when do you stop touching it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just let it be.
Interesting. And so like, can you tell me a little bit about like because you grew up in Lethbridge, is that right?
I did, yeah.
And so were you able to get down here and into the coulees a lot in your youth?
You know what? We didn't spend a lot of time down here.
No.
And I think a lot of it was just, I have 2 siblings. I have a brother and a sister. And so
Yeah.
I think busy families, we all had our own activities. I spent most of my time in the dance studio.
Right.
And so I think with that, I didn't get out a lot.
Right.
And so when I moved away, I went to BC and went to school and lived sort of between BC and the Yukon for a handful of years. And when I came back to Lethbridge and sort of decided to set roots here in around 2009, 2010, I discovered the coulees, and
Yeah.
it was shocking. Because I probably spend most of my spare time, you know, you were asking about hobbies.
Yeah.
I think most of my spare time is spent in these coulees.
Yeah. That's
you know,
awesome.
walking, turning off my phone, trying to clear my mind, whether it's with my kids or my dog, my husband. Yeah. So I've really found a lot of peace and comfort down here. When I have too many ideas going on,
Yeah.
I find coming down here can really sort of clear my mind or help me to streamline my processes a little bit.
Totally.
Kind of like walking meditation, right?
Yeah.
Like you walk
I
and
was
you
just
can
about to say, yeah.
think through things instead of journaling something and having that tangible information on paper. Sometimes you just have to let your train of thought go. So yeah,
Interesting. We're up against another puddle.
we are up against another puddle. Do you want me to hold your hand?
Maybe. Yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
And I can-
Oh, we're just gonna crack right through it.
Okay.
Crunch. Here we go.
There we go. We're doing it.
We made it. We made it across
Nice.
the pond.
Nice. But yeah, no, I love what you're saying there about that kind of meditative element to it. And I think I definitely find that
Yeah.
in nature. It kind of takes away, I think when we're in like relation to one another so much, we can easily like compare ourselves to one another and
Yeah.
even just ourselves. And I think being in nature,
Good morning.
I think being in nature, like you're not going to compare yourself to a tree. You're not going to compare yourself to these things that just exist.
Yeah.
And so that's what I get out of being down here. And
Well, that's great.
yeah,
Well, and I
so-
think it's really interesting because if you stop and you observe the trees down here, the city actually does very little intervention when it comes to the natural landscape down here. Like obviously if there's a log across the path, they're going to mitigate those types of risks, but I mean, it's truly just raw nature.
Yeah.
It is twisted, it is overgrown. These big cottonwoods that populate the coulees are pretty incredible, and it's lovely to see how it kind of just, they let it be.
Yeah.
They let it be on its own.
It will do its own thing.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
it did before us and will after
And I think
us.
I said that in the other
Yeah.
portion of the interview, you know,
Right.
like nature sort of marches on whether we bug it or not,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
so yeah, I find a lot from it.
Mhm. And you mentioned that these are cottonwoods, these
Yeah.
trees. I feel like there's a fun fact there.
You know,
Cottonwoods,
I
like,
wish I knew a little
Okay,
bit
yeah.
more about it, but and actually the nature center is full of information when
Totally.
it comes to actually what's growing down here. But I know that the majority of these trees are cottonwoods, and that's kind of they're deciduous trees, so they die.
right on.
they don't die; they go dormant.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting. I lived in BC for a long time, a handful of years, and it was always green, you know, and I actually found that really hard because I didn't realize how much I almost needed seasons, like that closing of a
Right.
season. I almost needed that as an artist to help kind of gauge me through the year.
Absolutely.
When I lived in Victoria, things kind of just felt so perpetual.
Totally.
So I found it really hard to get motivated at times, even though everything's beautiful and there's lots of
Yeah.
inspiration by the ocean.
Yeah.
I find that changing of seasons sets a natural rhythm through the year that helps me to do my work in some ways.
Interesting. No, that's super interesting. Like, and being from the UK, I know that Victoria, like that kind of area, is has a similar-ish climate.
Yeah, I believe
You know,
so.
just so close to the ocean. And
Yeah.
I actually never thought about that, but having been to Victoria like last year,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. But then also hearing what you're saying about, it's kind of nice to have that that journey really
Yeah.
through the year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, is there any more that you could speak to about how the seasons kind of influence your work? Or
Well, I think a part of it, like even just like I work with a lot of children, and so, you know, we talked about curiosity, and look, we've come to
we have
a
come to
fork in the road.
fork in the
Do we
road.
go right? Do we go left?
Let's
Where do
go
we
right.
go? Let's go right.
Let's
I
go
think
right.
we could go right. If we keep going, we'll find ourselves at the Old Man River
Oh, okay.
that runs through the city. But if we can hook left, and then that will kind of take us on
Right on.
another
Cool.
little adventure as well, because it might get quite icy down by the river.
Totally, yeah.
But working with lots of kids, I think, you know, you have to, they're curious already, but you
Yeah.
really have to feed into that curiosity. And I think what's interesting about living in a location where there are those 4 seasons is we see the trees lose their leaves.
Yeah.
We see that natural cycle of life kind of going to sleep. And when you think of certain projects and working on certain things, there has to be this really important incubation process, right? Like it's okay to hibernate. It's okay to have times where you're not just like producing.
Totally.
And we talked about balance a lot, right?
Yep.
Finding that balance between that workload and then just finding moments of calm and relaxation. And
Absolutely.
so, and then the excitement of spring when things really start to perk up.
Yeah.
And there's parts of the coulees where we get these cacti, and they only flower for, I think, like a week.
Yeah.
Not even. It's like a few days. So if you're walking, you'll actually see these cactuses, and if you come back the next day, right, you'll find, like, you might catch them on that day that they're in bloom.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called, but they're just gorgeous. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think just taking that time to sort of appreciate that anything worth doing, if it has its time process that's a little bit longer, that's okay. Because I think we get really used to like instant gratification in today's day and age, where you
Totally.
expect things just to like happen for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's okay if something has to take a little bit longer.
Absolutely. I think there's a lyric from one of my favorite songs. I'm forgetting, blanking on who it is, but they say that direction is way more important than speed.
Ooh,
And
I
so
like that.
Yeah, and so like it really doesn't matter, like you say, instant gratification. And I think we get caught up a lot in like, you have to achieve this by a certain age and this and this
Yes.
and everything. But it's really like, if it's serving you and your soul and your being, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how long it's taking. It's, yeah, that direction that you're on, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. And it's
Mhm.
true in any artistic endeavor, right? But with the idea of dance, like bringing it back to my practice, is that, you know, it does take time.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn these steps, and you have sort of these foundations and these stepping stones.
Yeah.
But you can't run before you walk, and you have to appreciate the journey of getting there. And so having that understanding of, you know, there is a trajectory, but sometimes, you know, it's very incremental.
Totally.
It doesn't feel like you're improving.
Yeah.
And then one day you walk into the studio and all of a sudden everything connects and you're like, whoa, it's working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't always win, I guess. Like there's always going to be those little steps before you feel maybe a big shift or a big improvement. And so, yeah. I am big about process. Like I talk to my students a lot about process, right? It's not about the product at the end. It's about the journey to get there. And then the product is important because we have to share. We have to bring our performing art out of our bodies. We have to put it out into the world for someone else to enjoy or to experience. But then we get back in the studio. There's always back to the studio, because there's always more to learn. There's always more to gain about our instrument, about ourselves, how we use it, and all of that. So yeah, I'm big on direction. I'm big on process over product.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I loved, you were talking like literally not that long ago, but you were talking about how ideas and like choreography, for example, like it's important to have their hibernate, like a incubation period.
Yeah.
And I love that connected or parallel with the idea of like nature and like deciduous trees. They go into that hibernation period, and animals and everything. I just kind of see that parallel between what you're saying about your process and nature, and I think that's really beautiful.
Well, and I think it is kind of like my checkpoint. Like when I'm getting frustrated that things aren't connecting, or accomplishing as fast as I want to. You know,
Mhm.
you walk out into nature and like immediately you're like, okay, like there's no rush,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everything to its season and all of that. Like you can get really metaphorical about it, but I
Yeah.
think if nothing else, it just slows you down and says to my brain, okay, it's okay. It's going to take some time.
Mhm.
And sometimes when it takes a bit more time, you get something really beautiful on the other side of it
Yeah,
without rushing it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that you wear many hats.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, you know, as a local business owner, and you have a family, and
Mhm.
you're, you know, an independent artist, I imagine the speed can hasten fairly quickly. You know, like, is there
Yeah.
anything you
Yeah,
want to share about
it
that?
can oh my gosh, yeah, it can be all consuming at times. And actually,
Totally.
I joke about wearing hats because that's actually been the healthiest and most practical way for me to like separate my time,
Right.
right? Like there's moments where I have to like, or my husband's really good at like making me have a hard stop.
Right.
He'll be like, okay, hard stop. Who are you right now?
Right.
Like we'll have to hit that wall to say, no, I don't need to be the dance teacher right now, right? Like
Mhm.
throw it away. I don't need to be this right now. And so I find those moments where I have to close off, and not a bad way, but
Yeah.
like separate the business mind when I'm just immersing with my kids,
Totally.
right?
Mhm.
And in the
Mhm.
first 3 to 5 years of business, it was really hard to do. Like I'm very much still working on it.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
finding
yeah.
that ability to turn off the working brain, or right,
Mhm.
or moments where, and you never turn off the mom brain, but there
Mhm.
are moments where it's like, okay, I have to focus on my work right now, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that literal idea of wearing hats has been a really healthy way for me to really be present in the
Mhm.
moment that I'm working in, and then be able to sort of shelf that responsibility or shelf that
Because
role.
it will still be there
Oh yeah,
when you're
no,
done
the
in
work
this
is there.
moment. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big thing I've learned too, is like,
Yeah.
you know, we joked about how to eat an elephant, but it's true. Like, don't worry about it. It'll wait for you.
Yeah.
If no one else is going to pick up that task, then
Yeah.
taking, 5 minutes away or going for a hike for an hour and
Yeah.
getting outside and breathing fresh air is
Mhm.
only going to benefit what you do after, because you're coming back with a clear mind and,
Absolutely.
a fresh perspective on maybe what was challenging you
Absolutely. Yeah.
at the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What if you were to give folks that maybe are like thinking of starting a business, or you know,
Ooh.
their family is growing in whatever way, or and they are finding themselves juggling a lot, what would be like your top piece of advice?
Ooh, that's a great
I know I'm kind of
question.
putting you on the spot
You
here,
are, Perry.
but we do have a beautiful view
Yeah, look
here
at
that
the
we can
river.
just
She's
stop.
opened up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been quite frozen for the last, well, we had that minus 30 weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's opened up.
And I'm not gonna lie. Well, you think for your answer,
While I contemplate.
Yeah, I really love the coulees at this time of year. I know that they look very brown, but I love when the snow is like getting sparse, and it just shows how much, like, I don't know what the word is, but it shows all the details.
Yeah.
It highlights, like, they're not just like these, you know, perfectly straight,
Yeah.
like domes. They have all these different details in them, and I just think the snow really highlights that. And yeah.
Well, in certain times of day, the light will change. And then in the spring, as all the shrubbery and bushes start to peak.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the fall again. So every season really.
We got a friend too on this branch right here.
Oh,
Looks like a little woodpecker.
that is a little woodpecker.
Oh,
I want to say that's similar to a downy woodpecker.
okay.
They're
Oh,
lovely.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I think my best advice, I mean,
Mhm.
when taking anything on is, my grandpa used to say, as far as painting or doing any sort of project, like the old saying, measure twice, cut once. Like,
Mm.
I think your planning and your process, even before you get started, is really critical.
Yeah.
Having conversations and then also being open to those roadblocks, or open, right? Like with kids or with family or with business, it's not going to go smoothly.
Right.
And so I always sort of try and take everything with a bit of sense of humor. So
Yeah.
you're not taking yourself too seriously, because everything has a solution.
Yeah.
You just sometimes have to step back and not think so hard about it.
Totally. Yeah.
But I think preparing, you know, getting your ducks in a row, thinking about it. I'm big on like pros and cons lists. I'm one of those
Okay.
old-fashioned like let's make lists.
Yeah.
But it just helps me to sort of think about how things are going to work, and I do kind of tunnel sometimes because I think of all the possibilities. Like, okay, if I do this, these are like the 40 things that could happen. But then if I do it, then I know I've kind of already thought about all like the goods and the bads that might come out of it. And so when I'm encountered with something, it feels less terrifying maybe or shocking because I've already considered something happening.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
That foresight.
Yeah, the
element of
foresight
a little bit.
Thinking ahead, you know, like this could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got lots of little birds in the trees here.
Yeah.
Some
Doing their thing.
chickadees.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm just enjoying
Yeah.
a little bit.
You can hear
nature.
the rush of the
Not gonna
cars
lie,
across.
I don't get out here this early very often. So
And I love the morning.
yeah.
I mean, I think there's something to offer all times of day, but yeah, I think the morning is specifically kind of waking up when nature itself is waking up. If you can get down here in the morning, that's when you see the deer and the pheasants and the porcupine and like all the creatures. You kind of wake up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mighty river.
Keeps flowing.
Yeah.
Just like life.
Oh, right. It's
That's
true.
awesome.
Well, and rivers are also very unassuming. Like, it doesn't look like much, but there's always so much. I have so much respect for natural water sources because underneath that is another current that we don't even experience, which is kind of like life, right? Like what you see on the surface of a person or a situation is never what's actually going on.
Absolutely,
underneath.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think there's something in that you just said about, you never know what somebody's going through. And I think that nature, it just has that element of like, be kind, because you never know. Like, you never know what, animals struggling to make it through.
Yeah.
Or like, you just don't know, right? So it's just like, just be kind.
Oh, kindness. I'm a big kindness person. Kill them with kindness, right?
Totally.
Because if there's one thing you can do, it's to be kind, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I definitely lead that way for sure. We talked about eternal optimism, or right, the glass always being half full. And I think, with respect to being very pragmatic in certain situations, I think kindness and approaching everything with your heart open can really lead you to a lot of really positive outcomes. Oh my God! Did a bird just land on my head?
Yes! Oh my gosh! That was beautiful. This guy right here.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, I flinched.
No, that's crazy.
I felt its claws on my head.
That's crazy. He's just
like,
up
come
there.
to me, nature.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was a super major princess moment, Like, oh, that's
magic.
awesome. Well, I mean,
that's never happened to me before.
That's awesome. Yeah, back over there. I was thinking, I think this could be a really cool spot to try the choreography.
I was just thinking that.
Totally.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, Perry.
Yeah, and it'll be a challenge to see if I remember it.
Yeah.
But I think this would be as good a spot as any. And I think, honestly, our little friend blessing it there, I think, is a great sign. So
yeah.
Should we dive in and
Sure. There's kind of some open space, but some natural landscape things.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess this is kind of on the conversation of taking a piece of choreography and taking it to like a fun. I wonder if we're like in his territory or something.
It doesn't seem.
Hello, friend. This is so beautiful. I don't know whether to be scared or just blessed. Like.
So, what?
I feel like we might be like near there.
Well, so there are some people, and it got really big in the pandemic. People would come down and they would feed the birds, which you're actually
Interesting.
not supposed to do.
Not at all supposed to do. Yeah.
And the main reason is that people would come down with their own seed variations, and it would introduce new plant species that don't belong here in the river bottom
Right.
into the river bottom. And some of those species become invasive species, and they drown out some of the natural species that belong here.
Right.
So because of this, there are certain spots. We have some nuthatch up in this tree now too. The one with the little yellow belly and the blue back. But I think that might be what is happening is that bird is expecting food.
Right.
So people can come down and not be attacked by birds, but the birds are quite domesticated almost because they're expecting seed. But it's not recommended for those reasons, even though it's really magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to keep nature.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But back to site-specific work.
Yes.
Yeah, so we could definitely explore the idea of, the walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You talk through it, right? You had your 8 steps where you sort of take your own journey.
Yeah.
And then we gathered something towards us.
Yes.
And then we wanted something off.
Yes. You gotta get rid of that thing wherever it is.
And then there was a moment of bracing.
Yes. Brace.
And then that idea of release.
Releasing.
And we talked about this being tricky because now we're outside.
Yes. And yeah, we would come all the way to the ground into a ball, I believe.
Oh yeah, we talked about a ball and then a star. I'm not afraid. A star.
I love it.
And it's not as snowy.
Yes, this is true.
You can get lost in the clouds for a moment. And then we talked about that connection. And I mean that connection with the ground. We talked about, like, that could be a surface connection. So now we have a tree, we have this log, there's a bench.
Mm-hmm.
Connection can also be, right, like maybe with your own body.
With yourself.
Right, with yourself.
Yeah.
So I talked about that idea of like being stuck, but maybe that stickiness is like on my own body.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that adaptation. That's awesome. Yeah.
And then I actually, after we did our sticky, where did we finish? Or not our sticky, our hands. And then we just came to standing, I thought.
Yeah.
From there.
Standing.
And then we repeated.
I think.
It was like a gentle roll up.
Yeah.
And then we're there again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Right on. Okay.
We'll maybe explore it and see if the birds join in again.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, we'll just give it a go here. Should we do it a certain number of times? Maybe twice?
Twice sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Hello, friend. Okay. Okay, 8 steps. And sorry, I know you were just about in the zone, ready to go. I also remember your note from last time about if you forget the next step, repeat the step that you just did.
Repetition can be really helpful in
can help
prompting
you
the
through.
mind to the next piece of choreography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You found something.
Yes, this was the bit that I got stuck to at the very end of that last one.
I
Little piece of bark. But
The
I'm gonna put that
woodpecker
back.
was pecking my nails.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was like tick, tick, looking for food or something.
Oh.
It latched right on.
That's beautiful.
Magic. So
Yeah.
so just a simple idea. And I mean, you don't have to do that with all creative work, but
Mhm.
I know during the pandemic there was this limitation on how artists could work.
Yeah.
And so there was this really big insurgence, is that the right word?
Yeah.
This surge of artists moving outdoors and
Yeah.
exploring nature work. And
Mhm.
and so yeah, I think outdoor spaces for dance specifically can be really incredible because there's no mirrors. There's, you know, that found space can be really, really incredible because it takes away kind of the look and it's more about how it feels.
Yeah.
Right?
That kind of element of comparison.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, I love that because like, yeah, the mirror is such an iconic part of like a dance studio, I
Yes.
think. And
It is. And it's a tool,
absolutely.
but it can also work against dancers, you know,
Yeah.
because always looking at yourself in the mirror can be exhausting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so to get outside can really, really change, you know, just how the body feels, how the fresh air is always
Yeah.
good medicine. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. I think that is all the time we have for this
Yeah.
segment. So
how special.
yeah, thank you so much. Try not to feed your local
Yeah,
wildlife.
don't feed local wildlife, birds
But
included.
it is very magical when they do
Mhm.
things like that. So the temptation is real. I get it. But no, yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, this is the Windy City's Finest. I'm Perry. He's Clark, and you are
Claire Lint with Haptic Dance Arts. Woo!
Clark and Perry,
in the place.
Clark and Perry, do what it takes. Clark and Perry, invite you to stay.
And explore the artistry in everything, live, on location alongside the Windy City's Finest. Produced with the support of Telestory Hive, available on YouTube and Telesoptic TV on demand for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.